She woke before the sun, the apartment still wrapped in the kind of quiet that made her notice her own breathing. The air felt cool against her skin when she opened the window, letting in the faint scent of salt that drifted from the coast. At 50, she had learned to appreciate mornings like this, slow, simples, honestos, because they didn't demand nada dela além de existir. Yet, even in that silence, she could feel the echoes of the life she had perdido, like objects boxed and pushed to the back of a closet she rarely dared to open. The end of her marriage had left her with an apartment too empty, a rotina too structured, and a mirror that insisted on reminding her of everything she tentava ignorar. Lines carved gently around her eyes, the softness of her jaw, the silver strands woven through her dark hair. None of it was feio, but society had made her acreditar que era sinal de que seu tempo havia passado. She touched her face with a kind of tenderness she rarely allowed herself, wondering when exactly she had started believing more in the voices que a diminuíam do que na voz que tentava protegê-la. The silence of the room offered no resposta, only the soft hum of the refrigerator and the distant call of seagulls outside. Her phone buzzed on the table. A message, one of the few she still received. A daughter too busy with her own children. A son who wrote out of obligation rather than interest. Their words were curt, polite, emotionally neutros. She had stopped esperando cariño explícito. It was easier that way. She answered com a mesma educação. Depois colocou o aparelho de lado, sentindo o peso de mundo que a havia declarado velha demais para ser prioridade. She showered, dressed, and tied her hair back with the same care she used every morning. Her work as the events manager at the Bistro à Beira-Mar demanded organização, compostura e elegância discreta, qualities she had, though poucas pessoas as percebiam. When she stepped outside, the wind brushed against her coat, lifting strands of hair in a gesture delicado, almost agradecido. The streets were waking slowly, the sky painted in diluted gold as the city transitioned from sombra para luz. She walked with passos firmes, though por dentro ainda havia fragilidade carregada como peso antigo. When she reached the café, the glass façade reflected the ocean behind it, creating the illusion of a place suspended entre terra e água. Inside, everything was meticulously arranged. Politas wooden tables, warm amber lighting, the faint murmur of early customers seeking silence or compañía. She inhaled the familiar aroma of roasted coffee and polished metal, grounding herself in a rotina que lhe dava propósito. Chairs straightened, menus aligned, staff greeted. She responded com suavidade automática, uma força construída a partir de anos segurando o mundo nas próprias costas. But beneath the efficiency lay outra história, one of exhaustion misturada com resiliência. Guests often looked through her, past her, como se fosse parte da mobília. Younger women were greeted com sorrisos largos. Homens mais velhos as avaliavam como se pudessem medir o valor de alguém pela idade que aparecia no pescoço. She felt the weight of these olhares, yet forced herself a continuar sorrindo, a manter dignidade nos detalhes pequenos. She had rebuilt her life so many vezes que perdera a conta. Ainda assim, ninguém parecia perceber o esforço invisível que sustentava cada passo. Later that morning, she met with the owner in his office, reviewing schedules for an upcoming event that demanded perfeição. He spoke quickly, gesturing toward lists, budgets, prazos apertados. She listened, anotou, assumiu responsabilidades, tudo sem demonstrar o cansaço nos ombros. Men expected competence from her, but rarely gratitude. Experience had taught her que a idade fazia seu trabalho parecer obrigação, nunca conquista. Still, she carried the weight com elegância, como sempre fez. Back in the main hall, she noticed the piano near the corner, recently tuned, shining softly sob a luz da manhã. The new musician chegaria em breve, though she had not yet met him. The thought passed pela sua mente sem importância, until something in her paused. She didn't know why. It was nothing, just a vaga intuição. But naquele instante, a sala pareceu respirar de jeito diferente, como se estivesse prestes a apresentar alguém que mudaria algo nela. mesmo que ela ainda não imaginasse. She straightened the last napkin on the last table and looked toward the entrance as the first strong beam of sunlight crossed the floor. She didn't know that this ordinary morning seria lembrada, mais tarde, como o exato momento antes de sua vida começar a se mover novamente. Uma vida que ela acreditava já ter sido decidida pelo tempo, pelos outros, pelo mundo. But the world estava prestes a provar que estava errada. He arrived carrying a worn leather case and a calmness that seemed unusual for someone his age. At 28, he had a presence quiet enough to blend into the room, yet grounded enough to mold its atmosphere sem esforço. When he stepped inside the café, the light caught the faint curl of his hair, the relaxed tilt of his shoulders, and a softness in his gaze that sugeria alguém que observava mais do que falava. He scanned the space not como artista exibindo talento, but like someone sensing the emotional climate of a place before deciding onde colocar os próprios passos. She was at the counter revising schedules when he first noticed her, not with the curiosity superficial que muitos tinham, but with atenção genuína. There was something in the way she walked, na maneira como ajeitava detalhes invisíveis para qualquer outro, que revelava uma história inteira sem uma única palavra. He didn't know her, mas podia sentir o peso invisível que ela carregava, como se a vida tivesse exigido dela muito mais do que oferecido. During his sound check, he tested each note com uma precisão silenciosa, adjusting volume, toque, postura. She passed by a few times, sempre apressada, sempre resolvendo algo antes mesmo de ser pedido. He admired her professionalism, though he could also sense a tiredness no fundo dos olhos dela, tipo de cansaço que não vinha do corpo, mas da alma que havia se moldado demais para caber nos espaços que os outros deixavam. The staff reacted a ele como misto de surpresa e expectativa. A new musician always stirred comentários, mas ele não parecia notar. Instead, he watched how she interacted with everyone. Firme, mas gentil, organizada, mas silenciosamente ferida quando alguém a tratava como se fosse invisível. There was a grace in her that felt almost clandestine, beautiful, refined, e completamente despercebida por quem não sabia olhar. As the morning progressed, their paths se cruzaram em pequenos momentos sem significado aparente. When she adjusted the angle of a chair near the piano, he stepped aside com uma delicadeza quase instintiva, como se já entendesse que ela carregava mundos inteiros na cabeça e precisava de espaço para respirar. When he sorted through sheet music, she noticed a page slipping to the floor and picked it up before ela sequer percebesse. Their eyes met por breve segundo, olhar curto, respeitoso, mas profundo o suficiente para causar uma pequena fissura na armadura emocional que ela mantinha. The day moved forward, clients filled the tables, and the soft hum of conversation se misturava ao som do mar lá fora. When he played the first official set, the room settled into uma tranquilidade curiosa. His music didn't fill the space. It illuminated it gently. He watched her subtly while he played, noticing the tension nos ombros toda vez que alguém falava com ela de forma rude, ou quando cliente mais jovem a ignorava completamente. She carried herself com dignidade, but ele conseguia sentir o desgaste escondido nos gestos pequenos. Between sets, ele não se aproximou dela, não por falta de vontade, mas por respeito. He sensed that she wasn't alguém que se permitia ser vista com facilidade. Instead, he observed from a distance the way she talked with the kitchen team, the way she supported a waitress who seemed overwhelmed, the way she contornava conflitos antes que eles explodissem. Ele via nela uma força verdadeira, do tipo que a idade não destrói, apenas refina. Later in the afternoon, while reorganizing his sheet music, he noticed a small detail. She always placed a cup of water near the piano antes de cada apresentação, discretamente, sem chamar atenção. It wasn't obligation, it was cuidado. And that act, simples e silencioso, fez algo nele mudar. He felt a pull, não de interesse superficial, but of admiration profunda, a kind that didn't ask for anything além de reconhecimento humano. As he watched her adjust decorations for the evening crowd, he understood something que ninguém mais naquele ambiente parecia perceber. She wasn't invisible. She was simply não vista por olhos incapazes de reconhecer grandeza silenciosa. He promised himself, sem palavras, sem intenção declarada, that he would continuar observando, escutando, percebendo. She had spent years sendo ignorada. He had no desire to repetir o mesmo erro que o mundo insistia em cometer com mulheres como ela. He didn't know yet como, quando ou porquê. But he knew that something dentro dele havia se movido desde o instante em que a viu. And unlike most people around her, he wasn't afraid de enxergar o que estava bem diante dele. The following days unfolded with an almost imperceptible shift in the atmosphere of the cafe, as if something quiet and essential had begun to stir beneath the surface of routine. She moved through her tasks with the same disciplined grace as sempre, yet every vez que passava perto do piano, a sensação de estar sendo verdadeiramente percebida a tocava como vento leve que ela tentava ignorar. He watched her with a kind of attention that nunca ultrapassava o respeito, mas que, mesmo assim, trazia uma profundidade rara, algo que ela não estava acostumada a receber de ninguém, muito menos de alguém tão jovem. Small gestures began to weave a thread invisible entre ils. She would arrive early to set up the space for the morning, and without ever commenting on it, he began arriving a few minutes earlier too. Not to talk, not to intrude, only to share that silent hour quando o sol ainda tocava o chão de vidro com brilho tímido. Sometimes she caught him observing the way she adjusted the placement of a vase or smoothed the edge of a tablecloth, como se aquilo tivesse significados maiores do que ela própria percebia. There was one morning in particular quando ela deixou café sobre o balcão, esquecido entre planilhas e anotações. She didn't even notice she had forgotten it. He did. And without drama or expectation, he moved the cup to a safer spot, longe da pilha de papéis que ela equilibrava como se fosse normal carregar múltiplos pesos ao mesmo tempo. She noticed the shift depois, e embora não houvesse bilhete nem explicação, calor silencioso percorreu seu peito. It wasn't flirtation. It wasn't interesse. It was something else. Something que a tratava não como uma mulher velha demais, mas como alguém que merecia cuidado. Another time, a sudden gust of wind entered through the open door, scattering a stack of menus across the floor. Staff rushed to collect them, but he was the first to reach the ones que deslizaram até perto do piano. When he bent down, she was already there, her fingers brushing the edge of a page ao mesmo tempo que os daily. A brief moment, only a touch of air entre suas mãos. But it held a kind of intimacy inesperada, born not from physical contact but from the awareness they suddenly shared. She pulled back quickly, almost startled pela própria reação. He offered a faint nod. Nothing mais. Mas o olhar dele continha respeito em nível que a desarmou por inteiro. Throughout the week, clients came and went, leaving behind their usual mix of admiration and disdain direcionados às pessoas ao redor. She felt their eyes sometimes, medindo sua postura, sua idade, suas roupa, and yet, sempre que olhava para o piano, she found his gaze anchored not on her body, not in judgment, but in the unspoken story que ela carregava nos ombros. It made her feel seen in a way que doía e confortava ao mesmo tempo. At times, she tried to rationalize tudo aquilo. Surely he was apenas educado. Surely he was apenas observador. Surely he treated everyone like that. But the truth se infiltrava quando ela menos esperava. Ninguém nunca a observara daquela forma antes. Não com aquela atenção calma, madura e livre de qualquer intenção escondida. It unsettled her. It warmed her. It frightened her. One afternoon, she found a sheet of his music tucked near the edge of a shelf, half hidden pelas garrafas de vidro que ela organizava. The paper carried annotations delicadas, markings he had written with care. She picked it up, hesitating for a moment, then placed it gently sobre o piano, aligning the corners como ela fazia com tudo que exigia respeito. When he returned and found the sheet waiting for him, perfectly arranged, he looked around until his eyes met hers across the room. Nothing was said, but something dentro dele, e dentro dela, acknowledged the exchange. A quiet understanding, like two souls acenando uma para a outra sem se aproximar. Even the staff began to notice a softness invisível pairando no ar entre os dois. Not in words, not in gestures grandes, but in the way the space around them seemed to se reorganizar quando estavam no mesmo ambiente. He would play, and she would feel the notes moving through her como se fossem fios costurando partes rasgadas dentro dela. She would walk past, and the sound of his music would subtly shift, como se acompanhasse o ritmo silencioso do coração dela. At home, she tried to silence the thoughts que insistiam em retornar. She would stand in front of the mirror, brushing her hair with movimentos longos, tentando convencer a si mesma que aquilo era apenas imaginação, that no man, especially not one tão jovem, would look at her with interest real. The world had lhe ensinado a não esperar nada além de funcionalidade e cordialidade. But the truth, aquela que ela tinha medo de admitir, é que fazia anos que ninguém a olhava daquela maneira. And as much as she tried to resist, a connection havia começado. Discreta, silenciosa, inesperada, but real. The café grew busier as the season advanced, and with the growing movement came the inevitable return of judgment, the kind that slipped through cracks in conversations, escondido entre risos, ou disfarçado em expressões que duravam apenas segundo. She had lived long enough to reconhecer esses sinais, the tilted heads, the falsely polite smiles, the narrowing of eyes quando alguém tentava decidir se ela era digna de atenção ou apenas parte da paisagem. The connection entre ela e o pianista, ainda que silenciosa, não passou despercebida. People noticed patterns long before they admitted noticing. The way his music softened quando ela passava. The way she rearranged the stage area como cuidado particular nos dias em que ele tocava. The way they existed no mesmo espaço como se entendesse o ritmo emocional do outro sem esforço. Clients, especially the frequent ones, começaram a trocar olhares. Some with curiosity, others with malícia contida, and a few with that cruel amusement reserved for situations que achavam inadequadas. She felt it, uma pressão invisível crescendo ao redor, esmagando-a em pequenas doses. The world had regras silenciosas sobre idade, aparência e desejo, e ela sempre estivera no lado punido dessas regras. One afternoon, during a particularly busy shift, she heard the first whisper clearly. Two women seated near the window, elegantly dressed, stirring their coffees con movimentos calculados. They watched her, then glanced toward the piano, and their smirks said more do que qualquer frase poderia. They didn't need to speak aloud. Their eyes spelled out everything. What is she thinking at her age? Como se o simples fato de existir com dignidade já fosse uma ousadia. She tried to ignore it, but the old wounds reabriram pouco. The same wounds that came from years de comentários sobre sua idade, sobre como she should dress appropriately, be realistic, remember her place, words escondidas sob a máscara de preocupação, mas que sempre carregavam a mensagem cruel. You are no longer desirable, no longer central, no longer someone worth noticing. And yet, every vez que ela cruzava o salão, his presence existed como antídoto silencioso. Not porque ele a protegia, mas porque a maneira como ele a percebia contradizia o julgamento coletivo. Still, conflicting emotions arose dentro dela. It was easier to enfrentar o mundo quando ninguém a olhava. But agora, com aquele jovem pianista inadvertently drawing attention toward her, the scrutiny became sharper. She noticed the change começar entre os próprios funcionários. A waitress, young and bright, lançou olhar de desdém em sua direção após vê-la conversando brevemente com ele sobre os horários da noite. A new dishwasher commented, not quietly enough, que ele não entendia por que o pianista perdia tanto tempo perto da gerente. Even the owner, always pragmático e distante, fez uma pausa longa demais quando a viu ao lado dele, como se calculasse riscos, impressões e possíveis inconvenientes sociais. At home, the judgment followed her como uma sombra. She sat on her couch after work, the lights apagadas, listening to the distant murmur of the city outside. She replayed every olhar, every risada abafada, every expressão enviesada. She knew these emotions well, a mistura de vergonha e raiva que fazia o peito apertar. She had felt them nos anos finais de seu casamento, quando percebeu que não era mais vista como mulher, mas como obrigação. When conversations dried up, when affection became duty, when she slowly foi desaparecendo enquanto ainda estava presente. And yet, deep down, she also sensed a different kind of fear growing, the fear de que ele percebesse o julgamento. That he too, eventually, would olhar para ela com a mesma lente cruel que o mundo usava. That he would wake one day and see not her essence, but the number attached to her age, the one que tantos usavam para justificar desrespeito. The next day at the café, the tension became quasi física. She was organizing the front counter when a pair of regular customers walked in, a couple in their early 40s, always bem vestidos e sempre prontos para dar opiniões não solicitadas. They greeted her com educação fria, then turned toward the piano as he began his first warm-up notes. The woman whispered algo no ouvido do marido, and they both laughed softly, their eyes sliding toward her como faces pequenas. She felt the burn no rosto, a old familiar ache rising from her stomach to her throat. She steadied her breath, maintained postura impecável, and forced herself a continuar trabalhando como si nada tivesse acontecido. But inside, something cracked. A reminder de que nenhum gesto gentil era suficiente para blindá-la dos olhos que sempre procuravam motivos para diminuí-la. Still, the worst part was not the judgment itself. It was the realization de que, apesar de todo o esforço para se manter distante emocionalmente, ela havia começado a se importar. His presence meant something now. His attention, even in silence, stirred partes dela que ela acreditava terem sido silenciadas para sempre. And the world, perceiving isso mesmo sem provas, começou a se preparar para atacá-la exatamente onde ela era mais vulnerável. The morning of the corporate brunch began with a sky so clear it looked almost artificial, the kind of blue que parecia prometer dia sem conflitos. She arrived earlier than usual, adjusting table arrangements, overseeing deliveries, and aligning every detail com uma precisão que vinha não de perfeccionismo, mas de sobrevivência. Events like this were opportunities, but também arenas silenciosas, onde erros eram observados com olhos de predadores. She knew that better than anyone. By the time the guests arrived, the café had transformed into an elegant stage, glasses shining under golden light, fresh flowers arranged in delicate vases, and soft music floating from the piano as he played in the corner. His presence brought a calmness ao ambiente, though she tried not to look in his direction. The conexão entre eles, ainda que mínima, tornara-se alvo para interpretações maldosas, and she had learned to protect herself by reducing even the possibility de ser vista ao lado dele. As clients took their seats, she moved between tables with the polite efficiency que sempre demonstrava. But it didn't take long for murmurs to begin. A raised eyebrow here, a glance exchanged between two women at the buffet, a smirk from a man who had had too much to drink too early. The whispers didn't have shape yet, but she recognized their texture, the familiar cruelty of people que adoravam encontrar escândalos onde só havia humanidade. The first blow came subtly. While she checked the food arrangement, a man in his 50s, one of the company's senior executives, looked directly at her and then at the pianist with an expression que misturava ironia e diversão perversa. He leaned toward another guest and whispered something. Laughter followed. It was small, abafado, but o suficiente para chegar até ela como tapa invisível. She kept her posture, but inside, uneasiness settled like a cold stone under her ribs. The second hit was less subtle. As she directed a waitress to bring more plates, a woman approached the piano, leaning against it with a fake enthusiasm. She praised the music loudly, then glanced toward the protagonist with a smirk. Her tone carried a venom disguised as humor. Though she couldn't hear every word, she caught enough to understand. They were insinuating que o músico tinha tipo, que ele preferia experiência, que ele Gostava de desafios exóticos. Their laughter sliced through her carefully built composure. She turned away quickly, her heart tightening in her chest. It wasn't the age difference they were mocking. It was her body, her life, her story. The tenderness she had started to feel nos dias anteriores now felt like a sentença pública, exposta à crueldade daqueles que não sabiam nada sobre ela. But the moment que destruiria o resto de seu equilíbrio veio pouco depois. While she stood near the main entrance checking requests, the senior executive, the same man who had whispered earlier, approached the piano and made a loud comment that silenced half the room. He gestured toward her, then toward the pianist, and laughed with the unmistakable tone of someone que se acha superior. Though his words were clothed in humor, the intention was clear. He insinuated que ela estava usando o músico jovem para se sentir desejada novamente. A few people gasped softly, others laughed, and many simply watched. The kind of mirada calculada que transforma uma mulher em espetáculo. She froze, not visibly, never visibly, but something inside her recoiled, retreating como animal ferido. Shame rose in waves, burning her skin, tightening her throat. She stared straight ahead, refusing to let anyone see o impacto real daquelas palavras. She had endured many tipos de humilhação ao longo da vida, mas aquela, diante de clientes, funcionários e diante dele, doeu de jeito que ela não estava preparada para enfrentar. From the corner of her vision, she saw him stop playing. His hands hovered above the keys. His jaw tightened. For a moment she feared he would react, that he would confront the man and turn a humiliating moment into a confrontation pública ainda maior, and she couldn't bear the thought of being the center de mes comentarios. So she forced her eyes to remain on the clipboard in her hands, her posture firm, her breath steady, como si nada tivesse acontecido, as if her dignity hadn't just been turned into amusement para extraños. He resumed playing, not because he accepted the humiliation, but because he sensed que ela precisava que o mundo continuasse girando como se não houvesse sangue escorrendo dentro dela. His music, however, had changed. The softness was gone. What replaced it was a restrained intensity, a silent protest that few understood, but que se derramava pelo salão como uma verdade discreta. Throughout the rest of the event, she moved mechanically. Her smile became structural, a mask segurada pelo fio frágil de sua força interior. But beneath it, humiliation pulsed like an old wound reopening. By the time the event ended, she felt hollow, as if a parte essencial tivesse sido retirada de dentro dela. And though she tried not to think about it, she knew the truth with painful clarity. The world had been waiting for the smallest signal to rear dela novamente, and they finally had their moment. The day after the brunch began with a gray sky, the kind that mirrors the heaviness inside someone who spent the night awake, replaying every detail de uma dor que não merecia. She stood before the mirror longer than usual, her reflection feeling menos como uma imagem e mais como uma lembrança de tudo o que tentava esquecer. The humiliation ainda queimava sob a superfície da pele, not as a fleeting embarrassment, but as a confirmation cruel do que ela temia há anos, que, para muitos, she was an easy target. When she arrived at the café, the air felt colder, not in temperature, but in meaning. Something dentro dela havia se retraído, encolhido para sobreviver. She walked with a new kind of precision, one that came from self-protection, not confidence. Her greetings were shorter, her expressions neutral, her movements calculados para evitar qualquer possibilidade de ser vista ao lado dele. He noticed the change instantly. Her posture had altered by barely perceptible degrees, but para alguém que observava o mundo através de nuances, it was obvious. She no longer glanced toward the piano, no longer lingered near the stage area, no longer offered even the smallest gesture de proximidade. Instead, she kept her distance as if each paso fosse un escudo. During his first set, he played softly, watching her move through the room with the kind of elegance that looked almost rehearsed, an elegance that escondía a dor por trás de cada gesto. When their eyes met, briefly, she looked away con rapidez, Como se o contato visual fosse arriscado demais. He understood the message. She was protecting herself, not from him, but from the world que a havia machucado na presença dele. And the guilt settled heavy in his chest. He replayed the scene from the day before, each detail becoming sharper, each second reminding him de como ele havia falhado em defendê-la no momento em que precisava. Not because he didn't want to, but because he had feared that reacting poderia expô-la ainda mais. She, however, didn't know disso. All she saw was silence da parte dele, silêncio que, para uma mulher acostumada a ser abandonada em momentos difíceis, parecia familiar demais. Throughout the morning, she reorganized schedules, disse pequenos comandos à equipe, and walked through the tables como uma postura tão neutra que parecia quase transparente. The staff noticed the shift too. Some interpreted her distance como frieza, others como orgulho ferido. But none understood the truth. She was rebuilding walls that haviam demorado anos para derrubar. At one point, she stepped into the storage room behind the kitchen to catch her breath. O ar ali era abafado, cheio de caixas e cheiro de madeira antiga. She held onto a shelf for support, feeling the weight da humilhação ainda latejando. It wasn't just the brunch. It was everything that brunch represented. Every vez que alguém a havia feito sentir menos. Cada comentário sobre envelhecer. Cada olhar que a medira como se fosse objeto desgastado. When she returned to the main floor, she kept her gaze fixed adiante. He watched her as she passed, wishing he could explain what had happened inside him durante o episodio. But she didn't give him space to speak, not even proximity, and he couldn't blame her. Later in the afternoon, while she reviewed a stack of invoices, he approached the counter with cautious steps. Not too close, not imposing, only close enough para oferecer uma presença silenciosa, esperando que ela o percebesse. She sensed him, of course, she always did, but kept her eyes on the papers as if they were the only thing capaz de impedir que os sentimentos escapassem. He placed a small folded piece of paper on the counter, apenas uma anotação sobre a iluminação do palco. Nothing personal, but even that gesture caused a tightening in her chest. For days, his small acts of kindness had warmed her. Now, they frightened her. Not because he had done anything wrong, but because aceitá-los significava se expor novamente ao julgamento que quase a destruiu. As dusk approached, the café filled with the soft amber glow das luminárias. She adjusted a candle on one of the tables, her hand trembling levemente, though she tried to steady it. He watched from the piano, understanding something fundamental. The distance she imposed wasn't a rejection. It was a scar, a freshly opened wound. When she finally stepped outside at the end of her shift, the air smelled of sea salt and impending rain. She wrapped her coat tightly around herself, feeling the chill not in her skin, but in her bones. She walked home alone, each step echoing a familiar rhythm, the rhythm de uma mulher que aprendeu a sobreviver, retirando-se antes que pudessem feri-la novamente. Inside the café, he remained seated at the piano long after the last customer left, his fingers resting sobre as teclas silenciosas. He wasn't angry at her. He wasn't disappointed. He simply felt something deep and heavy, the fear de que seu silêncio, mesmo que por bom motivo, tivesse machucado exatamente a pessoa he most wanted to protect. And for the first time, he began to realize que, se ele não fizesse algo real, algo claro, she would pull away so far que nenhum gesto futuro poderia alcançá-la. The following morning unfolded with a stillness that felt heavier than the muted sky outside. He sat at the piano long before opening hours, the cafe empty, chairs stacked, the scent of detergent still lingering noir. His fingers hovered over the keys, but not a single note emerged. Music had always been his way of translating emotions he couldn't name, but that day even the silence felt louder than cualquier melodia que pudesse tocar. He replayed the humiliation from the brunch over and over. The laughter, the insinuations, the expression no rosto dela quando tentou fingir que não havia sido ferida. He remembered the way she stiffened, the way her eyes became distant, The way she forced her posture into something steady, porque cair significaria ser analisada, julgada, classificada como fraca. And then he remembered his own silence, the part that burned the most. He hadn't remained quiet out of indifference. His inaction had been instinctive, a reflexo de proteção. He feared that confronting the man would expose her ainda mais, transformando insulto cruel em escândalo pública, something that would cling to her reputation como poeira difícil de limpar. But that choice, meant to shield her, had turned into another wound she carried so silently. As he sat there, the memory of his grandmother's voice drifted through him. Not words, but the essence de forma, como ela o criara. Dignity is not displayed in noise, but in how you stand for someone when the world insists on crushing them. He had always believed that. But now he felt como se tivesse falado em viver essa verdade. The door opened softly. She entered, carrying a stack of folders, her coat still damp from the morning mist. Her hair was tied back, but stray strands framed her face, giving her an elegance effortless. She didn't look toward the piano, a mudança tão profunda que parecia quasi física. Her silence toward him was not cold, but protective, a barrier built from fear, not anger. He watched her place the folders on the counter. The tension, clara no movimento dos ombros. Something inside him tightened. He couldn't bear witnessing her shrink under the weight of other people's cruelty. He couldn't bear being part of that silence anymore. Throughout the morning, he observed her from a distance. The way she avoided lingering in the same room que ele. The way she moved quickly, como se cada segundo perto dele fosse uma ameaça à frágil estabilidade que tentava manter. Staff members interacted with her normally, unaware of the storm beneath the surface. Clients came and went, smiling, asking questions, complaining about minor inconveniences. And she responded to all of it with the same professionalism de sempre, but with a softness ausente, a small light apagada dentro dela. Around midday, he stepped outside to clear his thoughts. The ocean stretched beyond the boardwalk, gray and restless sob o vento frio. He leaned against the railing, letting the sound of waves fill the space que a música não conseguia ocupar. He thought about why her pain affected him tão profundamente. It wasn't romantic fantasy. It was recognition. She carried a kind of solitude he understood, mesmo sendo tão mais jovem. She embodied a quiet resilience que poucos enxergavam, mas que ele admirava com sinceridade. He didn't want to just play music for her anymore. He wanted to stand beside her, not in whispers, not in secret glances, not in silences carregados, but openly. By the time he returned to the cafe, his decision had taken shape. Not impulsive, not dramatic, but firm, clear, and grounded. He wasn't going to let the world dictate como ela deveria ser amada, vista ou respeitada. Ele não permitiria que a diferença de idade entre eles se tornasse arma para diminuir a dignidade dela. Later that afternoon, he noticed her struggling with a heavy crate of glassware. 2 waiters walked past, too distracted to help. Without hesitation, he crossed the room and quietly took the weight from her hands. Their eyes met, the first true contact em dias. And in that single moment, he saw everything she tentava esconder. Exhaustion, tristeza, orgulho ferido. She opened her mouth, talvez para agradecer ou protestar, but no words came out. Instead, she blinked hard, como se estivesse empurrando as emoções de volta para dentro. He set the crate down gently and stepped back, not wanting to overwhelm her, but he didn't walk away entirely. He remained close enough para que ela soubesse que não estava sozinha, close enough para que ela percebesse que algo havia mudado. And something had. His silence was no longer a hiding place. It had become a boundary he was ready to cross. He wasn't going to let the world humiliate her again enquanto ela assistia. He wasn't going to let her carry the weight da vergonha que não era dela. He didn't know how yet, but he would find a way to make it clear, publicly, firmly, irrevocably, for her. The morning of the special event arrived wrapped in a golden haze, the kind of brightness que tornava tudo mais nítido, as mesas polidas, as taças alinhadas, o reflexo do mar atravessando os vidros do café. She woke earlier than usual, unable to quiet the anxiety que percorria seu corpo. Events like this always demanded perfection, mas desta vez havia um novo tipo de tensão pairando no ar. A presença da família dela. A presença de conhecidos dele. A mistura de mundos que nunca deveriam ter se encontrado no mesmo espaço. She dressed carefully, opting for something elegante e discreto, a neutral tone that blended easily into the ambiance. When she arrived, the café estava silencioso, ainda respirando a tranquilidade antes do caos organizado. She moved through the space, adjusting final details, aligning decorations, steadying her breath. The atmosphere se formava como uma superfície delicada. Qualquer movimento errado poderia rachá-la. He arrived shortly depois, carrying his sheet music and wearing a calm determination que contrastava com a inquietação dela. He greeted the staff with a gentle nod, then positioned himself beside the piano. Their eyes crossed brevemente, not with avoidance desta vez, but with a recognition silenciosa de que aquele dia carregava um peso além do normal. She didn't smile, neither did he, but something between them settled, como se ambos já soubessem que algo inevitável estava se aproximando. As the event began, people filled the café. Her family seated themselves perto da janela, relatives que raramente perguntavam como ela estava, mas que sempre tinham opiniões sobre sua vida. Friends of the pianist gathered near the back, observing the space with curiosity. Regular clients se posicionaram estrategicamente para ver tudo, suas expressões misturando interesse genuíno e expectativa sensacionalista. She moved between tables com graça, though inside her stomach twisted with a familiar dread. Judgment was a language she knew bem demais, and that room fluía nela. She sensed the glances, the subtle evaluations, the whispered comments sobre sua aparência, sua postura, e principalmente sobre a proximidade entre ela e o músico jovem que começava a ajustar suas partituras no palco. He noticed, too. From the piano bench, his eyes moved carefully across the room, registering cada expressão, cada gesto, cada olhar direcionado a ela. And what he saw only strengthened the resolve que vinha crescendo dentro dele desde o brunch. The energy in the café shifted conforme o sol mudava de posição, iluminando diferentes partes do salão. As glasses glittered. As vozes aumentavam em volume. The air grew warmer, denser, carregado com expectativas. She approached the family table to ensure they had everything they needed, but even ali, the scrutiny was palpable. Her relatives looked at her com aquele mesmo olhar antigo, o que misturava pena, julgamento e superioridade. She swallowed the ache, mantendo a compostura. She had spent years aprendendo a não reagir, a não responder, a não quebrar a máscara necessária para sobreviver. And today, diante de tantas pessoas que acreditavam conhecê-la, she felt herself shrinking again. But he refused to let her disappear. As he began playing the first piece, the café se encheu de uma melodia calma, but intense enough to capture attention. His fingers moved com precisão, but his gaze remained steady, anchoring itself nela de quando em quando. He wasn't just playing. He was observing, calculando, preparando algo. Throughout the afternoon, the mix of families, friends, and clients created an atmosphere quasi teatral. Every interaction felt amplified. Every movement, observado. Every nuance, analizado. And she felt the weight de tudo isso pressing against her ribs. When she stepped behind the counter to check an order, she heard a pair of clients commenting sobre ela. Their tone was condescending, tinged with sarcasm. They questioned her choices, her independence, her age. One even insinuated that she must feel grateful por receber atenção de alguém tão mais jovem. She froze for a heartbeat, closing her eyes to steady herself, then resumed her tasks as though nothing inside her had shaken. Meanwhile, he watched from the stage. His music faltered for a fraction of a second, imperceptible to most, but not to Ila. She looked up and for the first time in muitos dias, seus olhos realmente se encontraram. His expression said what words wouldn't. I see you. I see what they're doing. And I won't stay silent. The tension built slowly, like a tide rising against stone. Guests continued arriving. Conversations grew louder. Glasses clinked. The café pulsated como uma energia que parecia prenunciar algo incontornável. She felt it too. A shift no ar, a mudança no ritmo do espaço, as emoções se acumulando como nuvens antes de uma tempestade. And though she didn't know exactly what would happen, she sensed one truth calm clareza dolorosa. Something inside him was about to break open, and once it did, the entire room would have no choice but to listen. The cafe had reached that late afternoon fever pitch where conversations overlapped, glasses chimed, and every corner was filled with movement. The soft glow of the setting sun filtered through the wide windows, painting golden streaks across the floor and catching the dust particles that floated like tiny sparks of suspended tension. She moved between tables with her clipboard pressed against her chest, her posture flawless, her expression contida, the perfect mask she had worn for most of her life. Inside, however, she felt like a string stretched too tightly, ready to snap at the smallest pull. He watched her from the piano bench as he finished a piece that drifted beautifully across the room. But beneath the music, his heartbeat was unsteady. Every interaction she had endured that afternoon had been a blow he felt almost physically. The whispers, the glances, the quiet criticisms disguised as compliments, the mocking looks exchanged between certain clients when she walked by. And the worst part, the way her shoulders seemed to fold inward, only slightly, but enough for him to feel that she was preparing to vanish into herself again. He couldn't bear it. As the final note of the song faded, a hush settled momentarily, the kind of silence that appears naturally between pieces, waiting for the musician to continue. Normally, he would move seamlessly to the next track, letting the music guide the evening, but this time he didn't. He remained seated, fingers still resting lightly on the keys. His back straightened slowly, his breath deepened, and then he stood. The motion alone shifted the atmosphere. A few guests glanced toward him, curious. Others assumed it was simply a break. But she, standing near the counter, checking an order slip, felt the air change. Something inside her tightened. She looked up. He wasn't moving toward the exit or the bar or the restroom. He was walking toward the center of the room. The cafe's entire rhythm stalled. He paused halfway across the space, positioned where everyone could see him. The sunlight caught the side of his face, casting a warm glow on his features. His hands trembled slightly, not from fear, but from the gravity of what he was about to do. The conversations began to soften, falling one by one into silence, until the only sound remaining was the low hum of the espresso machine. Even she felt frozen, unable to do anything but watch. Her heart pounded painfully against her ribs, a mixture of dread and disbelief spreading through her body. Under no circumstances did she want to become the center of attention again, not after everything that had happened. She silently begged whatever force guided the moment for him to stop, to sit, to disappear back into the music. But he didn't. He scanned the room slowly, meeting the eyes of clients, relatives, staff, everyone who had contributed to the suffocating scrutiny that weighed on her shoulders. And then his gaze settled on her. There were no words spoken, and yet the message vibrated through the room like a struck chord. He lifted his head slightly, shoulders squared, as though anchoring himself. The pianist known for quietness and gentleness now radiated a steady conviction that made even the most arrogant guests sit straighter. The atmosphere tightened, expectation, confusion, disbelief, all mixing into one charged silence. And then, sem dialogos diretos, the truth unfolded. The room understood, not because he shouted, not because he pointed, but because his expression, his presence, and the unspoken force behind his actions made the message unmistakable. He wasn't ashamed of her. He wasn't distancing himself to avoid gossip. He wasn't silently accepting how she had been treated. He admired her, respected her, valued her, and he would not let anyone turn her into a target. He revealed, through gestures, through stance, through a courage calm and unwavering, exactly what he felt, that she carried a dignity the world continuously failed to see, that the insults thrown at her during the brunch were not just cruel, but morally wrong. That her age was not a flaw but a mark of a life lived with profundidad, and that he, a man 28 years old, saw in her a strength, beauty, and humanidad that no one else in the room had the maturity to recognize. Some guests shifted uncomfortably. Others stared with mouths slightly open. A few exchanged bewildered glances, as if trying to rewrite their own interpretations of the situation. Her family stiffened visibly, confused and slightly mortified. Several staff members froze mid-action, trays suspended in the air, and she felt as if the floor had vanished beneath her feet. Her breath caught. Her fingers tightened around the clipboard. A heat flushed through her chest, not shame, but an overwhelming wave of disbelief, gratitude, vulnerability, and fear. No one had ever stood for her like that. Not in public. Not with such clarity. Not with such quiet courage. He didn't break eye contact with her, even as the room reacted around them. There was no apology in his expression. No hesitation. Only truth. And that was what stunned everyone most. A truth spoken sem palavras, sem dramatizações, sem escândalo. Only conviction. For a full moment, the café remained suspended in a silence tão profunda que parecia impossível para espaço tão cheio. It was as if every person present had been forced to confront the woman they had judged, talvez pela primeira vez, realmente vê-la. And no one, absolutely no one, expected what they had just heard, even sem a presença de uma única frase. The pianist returned to his seat, not withdrawing his declaration, but sealing it. When he touched the piano again, the melody that followed was soft, intimate, and impossibly honest, a musical confession, and she knew, with a certainty that shook her, that nothing in her life would ever be the same. The aftermath of his declaration settled over the café like a shifting tide. Conversations resumed gradually, but now every word carried a different weight, as if people were measuring their reactions with newfound caution. The golden light outside softened into the blush of early evening, casting long shadows that stretched across the floor. Shadows that seemed to divide the room into who she had been antes daquele momento e quem ela havia se tornado depois. She stood behind the counter, still gripping her clipboard, her hands trembling in a way she couldn't hide. It wasn't fear. It wasn't shame. It was something far rarer, the shock of finally being defended, seen, and honored depois de uma vida inteira sendo diminuída silenciosamente. She kept her gaze down for a moment, needing space to steady the swirl of emotions inside her. But when she looked up, she found the room had shifted. People now avoided staring too openly, though a few watched her with something resembling respect, or at least recognition. Others struggled to mask their discomfort, their previous judgments now exposed like cracks under fresh paint. The very clients who had mocked her earlier now sat straighter, more cautious, as if his action had forced them to reevaluate not just her, but their own cruelty. Her family reacted with confusion and rigidity. They exchanged uneasy glances, clearly unsure how to interpret what had happened. They had always viewed her through the lens of obligation, never imagining that someone younger, someone tão seguro e gentil, pudesse olhar para ela com algo que ultrapassava simples consideração. Their faces betrayed what they could not voice. They didn't understand her anymore. She excused herself, walked toward the storage hallway, and paused beneath the dim light that flickered weakly overhead. She let out a breath she felt she had been holding for years. For the first time in a long while, she wasn't shrinking. She wasn't apologizing for existing. She wasn't asking permission to ocupar espacio. A piece of her, long hidden, expanded softly, cautiously, but undeniably. He found her there. He didn't step too close. He didn't reach for her. He didn't invade the fragile equilibrium she had just begun to reclaim. Instead, he stood quietly at the threshold, the faint hum of the café behind him, the ocean's distant murmur filtering through the glass walls. His presence alone grounded her. She lifted her eyes, and their gazes met in a way that felt como reencontro, not with him, but with herself. Something inside her recognized the sincerity in him, the steadiness, the authenticity. It was not infatuation, not fantasy. It was truth. A truth she had spent years believing que nunca mais encontraría. Without saying a word, he acknowledged what had happened in the room. He acknowledged her pain, her strength, her history. His expression wasn't triumphant. It wasn't expectant. It was simply honest. A quiet assurance that he had acted no por impulso, mas por convicção. And that made all the difference. When she returned to the cafe floor, something within her posture had changed. Not dramatically, not externally, but enough for him, and for anyone with sensibilidad, to notice. Her steps felt firmer. Her shoulders no longer curled inward. The invisible heaviness que sempre carregara havia afrouxado pouco. Throughout the rest of the evening, interactions unfolded differently. A waitress who had once looked at her com leve desdém agora falava com respeito hesitante. A couple that had giggled earlier avoided meeting her eyes. And a few clients even thanked her for the event, their voices carregadas como uma nova consciência. As the night drew to a close and the last guests trickled out, the café fell into the comforting quiet that always arrived após grandes emoções. The ocean breeze seeped through the slightly open window, carrying hints of salt and serenity. She stood by the door, watching the last waiter leave. The lights were dimmed, the piano silent, the room finally at rest. When she turned, he was still there, storing his sheet music with slow, thoughtful movements. For a moment, she simply observed him. The man who had, sem palavras, restored a piece of her dignity diante de todos. The man who had recognized valor onde tantos, viam apenas idade. The man who had stood up for her when she had forgotten o que era ser defendida. She approached him with measured steps, her heart beating not with fear this time, but with a quiet and growing certainty. When he lifted his head to look at her, the silence between them felt different. Not tense, not cautious, but full of possibility, full of truth, full of the kind of respect that slowly grows into something deeper. She didn't need grand declarations. He didn't need permission to care. In that dim, serene moment, she realized something she had never allowed herself to believe. Her dignity hadn't been lost. It had only been waiting. Waiting for someone, talvez até para ela mesma, reconhecê-la novamente. And now, finally, it had a name, and a face, and a place to belong.